everyone. I'm Vanessa. I'm a sixth-year graduate student here in the biomedical graduate studies at Penn. And so here we are with Jesus. So Jesus, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So yeah, I'm a fifth year undergrad from the University of Puerto Rico. I major in microbiology. I'm applying to grad school. I'm interested in cancer immunotherapy.
Perfect. All right. So we are going to get started. And so can you tell us how you felt before interviewing? And so this can be like the week leading up, like the minute right before you signed on, like how did you feel?
So yeah, it was right before it was a little bit nervy. Uh, you got the trembles, but you just have to come down a little bit, prepare, uh, and yeah, and right after the first one, I felt a little bit more confident of the other ones. So yeah, just feel confident about yourself. Go, in a calm mood. Uh, yeah, just have fun. Those are conversations, very good conversations,
Hmm.
and very interesting. So yeah.
Great. And so how did you prepare for your interviews?
So yeah, I had a couple of mock interviews. I prepared what I was gonna say, for example, to describe my research,
Hmm.
and if any questions came up, that was extremely helpful. The mock interviews in that sense, because I mocked interview with different people that didn't know my research, so in that sense, I could explain uh, to them anything that they didn't understand, and they can also tell me like, hey, you can better explain this, and but yeah, and in that sense also, relaxing a little bit because I was a little bit stressed at the beginning, but yeah, basically have to practice also and prepare what you're gonna say, not memorize the scripts because that's not
Hmm.
what it's all about, but practice and prepare, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And so, I guess in your mock interviews, did you have like similar questions come up? Because I assume it was with like different people. So did you have similar questions that would come up?
So yeah, in general, like what can you tell me about yourself?
Hmm.
Your research, why this institution? Like that's also a very common question. But also, in the research part, those questions can vary a little bit because a lot
Hmm.
people may be more can know more about your research and ask you more specific questions, or maybe another person doesn't know a lot, so he or she can ask you more like general questions, and so you have to be prepared to answer uh, both. So it's a little bit more unpredictable with the research questions, with the research specific questions, but in general, there are some common questions, yeah.
Hmm. And so since this was a virtual right interview, since it's during the pandemic, so did you have like notes on the side because you can, right? You can have notes on the side on your computer. Did you have that at all when you were doing your interviews?
Yeah, so I did have a little notes I jotted down before the interviews with just keywords. Like if
Hmm.
I forgot something, I had that little backup. So it was helpful sometimes. If I forgot a little detail from my
Hmm.
research, I had right there the little notes that could remind me of what I was about to say. Like, for example, when you have like a PowerPoint, so you just have, keywords, you don't have like a whole
Right.
sentence that you're gonna read, so you're not like
Hmm.
reading every
Hmm.
time. So yeah, that was also a something helpful, and then a little, silver lining of virtual interviews.
Yeah. And so with that, what was the most comfortable question that you were asked that you felt you were comfortable answering, and the question that you were the least comfortable answering?
Yeah. So the one I was most comfortable with, I think, my research, questions related to my research. If you
Uh,
know your research like the back of your hand. You're gonna
Hmm.
be very you're gonna have a very good answers for that, and you're the expert. The other person is asking you, the expert, the one that worked on that project. So you have to be very prepared for that. And the least I would say, sometimes not it's not very easy when they ask you, tell me about yourself. So that's something you have to, have like a little bit of an elevator pitch in that sense, and answering that question. So, it can sometimes, caught, get you off guard. And so, yeah.
Right, because that's a very broad question. Can you tell us kind of what you said about the elevator pitch about you?
So, yeah, after one of my mock interviews, I got very good tips about that. And
Hmm.
I basically, said my name, my major, where I go to school, my year, what I'm interested in. And I also, mentioned the fact that I'm from Puerto Rico. I mentioned my interests, like I
Hmm.
like my hobbies. For example, I like soccer. I like to watch soccer, like video games. So just don't stick to science, or
Hmm.
in that sense, like talk about yourself. They're asking about you. They're not asking about your
Right,
science. So
right.
that's a very good tip in that sense.
Yeah, because I mean, they'll get to the science, right? That would be the follow-up question.
Exactly, yeah. Eventually you'll get very research specific questions, and there
Hmm.
you can, demonstrate your expertise in that sense, but they're also testing you as a person, if you'd fit in the program. And so yeah, you have to show yourself as much more than just an academic person.
Hmm.
You're unique. You have unique hobbies, characteristics, and whatnot that make you you. So yeah, like make yourself shine in that sense also.
Yeah, I mean, you're a person, right? You're gonna come to grad school and you're gonna keep being you, and so you have to be true to yourself and what you like and all of
Exactly.
that stuff. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, and that's something they're also, as I said, they're testing that, like if you fit in this program in this
Hmm.
school. So it's important to be yourself in
Right.
that sense.
Yeah. And so, how many people did you interview with?
So I interviewed with four people.
With four people? Do you know if, like, did you get the names beforehand so that you can, like, research, like, do some research on them, or were they all part of that admissions committee? Did you know anything about them?
So yeah, I did get their names beforehand. I read a little bit about their research in the web page, and their lab website. Uh, we didn't talk a lot about their research, but it's important to know, because there
Hmm.
you can see their expertise. So maybe you had a research experience very related to their field, so you're there, you prepare, for very specific questions in that project. But and yeah, and I also had a lot of them were from the admissions committee, but they're also PIs, so it's
Hmm.
important to know not only their research but their position in, as chairs of the programs, or whatnot.
Right. And so, did you have like a specific question that like you had that you asked everyone, or did you like have like these like research specific questions that you already like you jotted down beforehand that you knew you wanted to ask?
But yeah, I had both actually. Uh, some of the PIs I interview with, they are my interest, and
Hmm.
of my field of interest. So I had a little bit, some questions jotted down for them, like research specific questions. But for example, for the shares of the program, I asked them, how was your experience in, as share? How do you describe, for example, the communication between the students and the shares?
Hmm.
So yeah, like it was, I had, research specific questions. I asked them how their experience was as either a PI or as a share, and also, just like personal questions about their their experience, and like path or journey to get there.
Yeah, those are awesome questions. I'm sure you had a lot to talk about. What was the range of time for your interviews?
But yeah, most of them stayed within 30 minutes. I think
Okay.
uh, maybe one or two extended a little bit, but not more than 45 minutes.
Okay, perfect. And so if you can give advice to a future you, so someone that is going to watch this video, right? And what advice would you give someone that's going to do a virtual interview?
But yeah, first, make sure you don't have like background noise. Sometimes that's something, we can control to an extent. Sometimes we can, but
Hmm.
also, your background, like find a place in your house where you have like a solid background where the person, in the other end is not like, oh, wait, what's that? No, you're just like behind, in front of a wall or a door or something. And also, prepare very well, practice if you can, like mock interview with people. That was extremely helpful for me. And also, as I said, like research the people that are gonna interview you and research the program. Uh, if you're interested in that school, like why are you interested? Like, have that answer ready also, because that's something they're gonna ask, very frequently. And yeah,
Hmm.
just like, calm your nerves. I bet you're an amazing scientist, whoever is watching this. But yeah, just like go with a optimistic view of things, and have fun. That's what I can say.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a conversation, right? They're interviewing you, but at the same time, you're interviewing them, and you're trying to see if you would fit into that institution or that program.
Yeah, exactly. That's an excellent take on that. There, you're also interviewing them, and towards the end of every interview, you have like a little bit of time where they say like, you have any questions for me, and then you can uh, ask them whatever you want, and to learn about them, to learn about the program, to learn about the research. So yeah,
Great. Well, thank you, Jesus. Good luck with the rest of your applications and your interviews. All right,
yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
stop the recording.
Yeah.